This is a kind of a revisit to a car that surged in sales just as the previous year came to an end. The Prologue, that's Honda's design built over GM's Ultium platform, has surely turned out as one sturdy SUV with a great ride quality. But underneath the versatile Ultium drive system also exists some very disappointing numbers, particularly its DC charging performance. I am presenting my full impressions of this car, its specifications, its key features, and its shortfalls. So let's get into it. The Prologue has three trims, the EX and the Touring, both with a predominant front-wheel drive, with an option for a dual-motor all-wheel drive. The Elite is the top trim that only comes in the all-wheel drive variant. All the trims offer 288 horsepower and 333 pound-feet of torque in the all-wheel drive configuration, while the EX and the Touring offer 212 horsepower and 236 pound-feet of torque when optioned in the single motor. They also offer 296 miles of EPA range with a single motor and 281 miles when optioned with a dual motor. The top trim Elite is rated for 273 miles in its only option of all-wheel drive. All Prologue trims come with the 85 kWh battery pack that charges at 11.5 kW AC and 155 kW DC. That DC rate is a letdown, particularly for a battery pack that's 85 kWh. With low DC rates, everything boils down to a great charging curve and thermals. Any slippage and the car becomes a letdown. Many feel that DC charging is only related to road trips, but I see an increasing number of people in the metro areas and large city spaces relying on it. It's hence getting ever so crucial for electric vehicles. At this point, no salesperson with OEMs that I came across is being transparent with customers on the real-world challenges of charging. It's disheartening to see that. It's the charging that lets down many a good vehicles currently, and the uptake of EVs themselves. The Prologue is 192 inches long, 78.3 inches wide, and 64.7 inches tall. Its wheelbase is 121.8 inches, and the ground clearance is 8.3 inches. The Elite trim you see here has the 275/45 R21 wheels in the front and rear, and the last two of those numbers spell a great ride. 250 mm of bigger wheels and a 6-inch plus ground clearance is the recipe for a comfortable ride quality. The Honda build quality is good and all that makes it great. The 21-inch wheels and their design with the openings are going to hurt range, and the body too is fairly boxy for any ambitions with efficiency. Here in the Bay Area, the dealers offer a choice to pick one of three options as a charging incentive. The first is the level 2 hardwired EVSC in the form of the 11.5 kW home charging station. The second is the dual voltage portable charging kit at 7.6 kW level 2 or 1.4 kW level 1. And the third option is a $750 credit as a charging incentive on the EVgo network. Let's look at each of them. The 11.5 kW home charging station that can charge at 48 amps is by far the best, but it will require an installation by a certified electrician, a 60 amps dedicated circuit at home, and some additional material costs. That will depend on where you live. It would have been great if Honda would offer some additional credit towards the same. The second option is also good, but will require a NEMA 1450 or similarly capable point to be installed with the installation costs as stated in the option 1. Though when charging at home, I strongly support a hardwired permanent option that's scalable over any portable EVSC. Both of these choices will only be relevant to users who have a driveway or access to electricity where the car is parked for charging. The third option offers a limited credit on a public charging network, which being limited to $750 is a good one. I'm not in favor of unlimited charging on public networks as some OEMs offer. This option, however, relies on the availability of a functional and available EVgo network, and that could differ from place to place. Many OEMs are thankfully doing away with free unlimited charging incentives as offered earlier. This also clogs networks, depriving users of fair access. Each of the options is a good one, but in my opinion, not a complete one in terms of resolving the user's charging needs seamlessly. The first two options would surely be fine for those who already have the necessary installations in place. And even in these two, I strongly recommend the option 1. The Honda Prologue Honda's first all-electric SUV, starts at an MSRP of $47,400 for the base EX trim. The mid-level touring trim is priced at $53,095 and the top-tier elite trim begins at $57,900. These prices are before relevant taxes and other charges, but also before any potential federal tax credits or state incentives, which could further reduce the overall cost. I expect plenty of discounts currently, especially if leased. The Prologue would be available for lease under $400 per month for the bottom two trims and under $700 for the top one. The Prologue has a fairly squared up exterior body with the headlights blending in with the design. To me, this is not something that's going to make you sit up, but more of a sturdy structure that does its job. On the front is a very Equinox-like headlight component. The Equinox, the Blazer, the Acura ZDX all share components built on the Ultium. It has the full LED headlights and turn signals and are designed horizontal with almost no round-shaped overtones. In the middle is the Honda logo over a very big bar with the vents underneath. The fog lights are placed below at the corners. The Prologue has a very long hood and that disappoints when one considers that there is no front trunk. That to me is a design miss with plenty of space where the front could have fit with some better organizing of components. The Prologue trims will have little to distinguish on the outside with a very boxy appearance. On the rear is the full LED modules with a line and a diffuser around. It may be difficult to see on video here, but the light has a fair amount of 3D elements inside. The roof does not quite slant down on the rear like I saw in the ID.4. There's good headroom in row 2. The rear has a very big hatch with a wiper and some good cargo room underneath. The seats have a fixed headrest with stitched leather and the two-tone color option. This would be worth a check when picking options and may be relevant to this, the Elite trim. The back has perforated material for seat ventilation that runs right down with good bolsters. The rear seats have more headroom and are placed lower from the very flat floor. They fold 60-40 and offer two cup holders with a fold-down center armrest. The rear passengers get two air vents, some storage, two USB charge ports, and a 120 outlet with a cover like the front seats. The door has plastic on top with the handle to open along with the lock and unlock button. Under that is the slim aluminium trim and the panel with the second color tone. Just above is a soft touch armrest with the window switches on it. Under the armrest is some small storage and hard plastic at the corners. At the hard plastic below and alongside the door handle are the speakers. The dash has the same material from the door panel and some hard plastic behind. On the dash are vents both on top and at the side on the panel up front. Behind the instrument cluster is the open binnacle for the heads-up display. The Prologue has a very basic bin-style glove box. The infotainment system comprises of the 11.3 inches center display and 11 inches instrument cluster. The standard features like wireless charging, the Wi-Fi hotspot, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto are all available. But mainly it's the Google integrations that make it competitive. The navigation and route planning that's built on Google Maps and the Google Assistant for voice commands, on top of the access to the Play Store, give the car the chance to stand. The Google software in the Prologue is very basic in comparison to the one we saw in the Polestar, Volvo and the Audi Q6, but those are all pricier cars. The center console has a dual phone tray with wireless charging, two cup holders and two USB ports along with a 12 volt with a cover. Under the armrest is some handy storage. It's a very simple center console with some very basic features. The steering has two spokes and stitched leather all around. In addition to the two spokes, it has the aluminum in place of the third and an opening in between. On the left of the steering are the buttons for volume adjustment, track navigation, source selection and voice commands. On the right are the ones for cruise control, speed adjustment and cancellation, driver assistance like adaptive cruise control and lane keeping. The buttons also afford answering phone calls and navigating the instrument cluster. The turn signals, headlights and high beams are on the left stalk, while the wipers, windshield washer and the drive selector or shifter are on the right. The rear cargo brings 25.2 cubic feet of storage with the rear seats up. That's comparable with all similar size cars currently in the US market. The lower trims of EX and Touring could have slightly smaller space at 23.8 cubic feet. The interiors of the Prologue has plenty of simplicity in terms of features and material, and I consider that a strong point. To sum up, the Prologue is a very good car on drive and build. In several places, Honda has let go of efficiency in favor of creating more room and style. Its range is adequate but has required a large battery to achieve it. It's got some military simplicity in design or the keep it simple philosophy. I looked in several places but I could not find details of its battery pack like the nominal voltage and architecture. If you know, please share in the comments. Its list price is a bit too high but comparable to other similar Ultium cars. It will have some generous discounts when leased currently at least. If you like this content, do let me know in the comments. And as usual, do all the good things, starting with liking and subscribing. If you'd like to see my full impressions of the Audi Q6, you can do that with the link here. See you in the next one.